and this is section 2 of the ELT125. So first, before we begin the session, we are going to play a game. And this game is called Photoshopped or Not. Here, you have to guess if whether the following images are real or if they are photoshopped. So this is the first one. What do you think? Is it real or is it photoshopped?
Fake, I think.
Yes, it is
Fake?
fake.
You think it's fake? Well, this image is actually true. I mean, it's real. You cannot see it, but the water comes from a tube. I mean, not from a tube. There is a tube in the middle of the water, and you cannot see it because the same water is covering it. But there's a tube that maintains the whole structure in place. But it's real. So this one is the second one. What do you think? Is it real or is it fake? It's a photo of Venice.
That is fake.
You think it's fake? No. This one is indeed fake. That's the real picture on the corner, and then as you can see, there's another image like in which there's like a frozen, perhaps lake or ocean, and it has been played. I mean, it has been positioned over the other one, so it's fake. What about this one? Do you think it's real or do you think it's fake?
I think that it's real.
Real? Okay. Sebastian, what about you?
Me too.
You also think it's real? Yes. This one is a real photograph of Sydney. I mean, in a place in Sydney, and it's this phenomenon. It's called like a wave cloud or something like that, and it looks like a tsunami, but it's not. They are just clouds. So yeah, this one is real. What about this one? We have some water that looks like a painting, apparently. Very artistic. Amaya?
From my experience, I would say is real.
Israel. Okay. Do we have another opinion?
Fake? It's too
Yes.
much beautiful.
Yeah, right. This one is real. This photograph is from a lake in Switzerland. It's a real photo, and yes, it's extremely beautiful, I will say, and it almost looks like a painting. It's crazy how nature works. So, what about this one? Is it real or is it photoshopped? What do you think? It looks like two islands.
Um, Photoshop.
Photoshopped? Yeah. This one was too good to be true. There you can see the real image, and it's just like it looks like a moon, but there's not an island that looks like a star. So yeah. And this one is the last one. What do you think about this one? Is it real or is it photoshopped? As you can see, there is a cow on top of a car.
True.
Okay. What about the rest? Do we have another opinion?
Fake. Photoshop.
Photoshopped? Yeah, this one is photoshopped. The cow was actually in the ground, on the ground, not on top of a car. I'm not pretty sure if a car that it would be that comfortable to rest. So yeah, that was fake. Now this is the agenda for today. Today we're going to cover reduction, and then we're going to practice it. After that, you're going to have the break, and during the second hour, we are going to practice the different features of connected speech we have been covering. And these are the objectives. You are going to be able to identify and apply reduction, and you're going to be able to recognize different features of connected speech in context. Now I will recommend you to take notes, because we are going to start the lesson. And first we have the definition of reduction. And it says reduction helps highlight important syllables by emphasizing unstressed syllables. Then after that it says the vowel in an unstressed syllable is reduced in both length and clarity. The most common reduced vowel in English is the schwa, the and it is important to remember that the schwa it's always a short, completely relaxed, and open sound. Like, it's very similar to the position our mouth takes when we pronounce the word pizza, like we open our mouth and it is a relaxed sound, like oh. So that's something for you to remember. Then we have the contractions are another example of reduction. And as you know, contractions reduce the number of syllables and eliminate some vowels completely. For example, if we have I am, it's only going to be or you are, your, or she is going to be she, she's, etc. Moreover, reduction is it's a very common feature of rapidly articulated speech, or in other words, it's very common when people speak fast. And lastly, is common in monosyllabic function words, and that refers to words that have a grammatical function and which serve to join the language together or to link the language, basically. Here we can find words such as of, have, he, she, is, etc. These words are particularly prone to reduction or are likely to be reduced. So whenever we have one of these words, it is very likely that they are going to go under a process of reduction. So now we are going to move on to our first example, and if you have any questions, just let me know. The first one, in the first case, we can see the word have in isolation. And here we have the phonetic transcription in this column. Now, in the second example, we also have the word have, but in the phonetic transcription, as you can see, this phonetic transcription does not correspond to the one we previously have in the first example. And this occurs because in rapid speech, people do not pronounce all the sounds, especially some vowels. So here we have an example of reduction in which the word have has been reduced to of. And as you can see, the trap vowel has been replaced by schwa, which is a central vowel, and the first sound has been deleted completely. The initial sound has been under a process of elision, I would say, and it has been deleted. So instead of saying they have gone, we are going to say they have gone. They have gone. And in the third example, here we also have the same sentence, but as you can see in the phonetic transcription, we don't have a different word. Now we have only one word in which only the last phoneme of the word have has been attached to the first word, and instead of saying like we previously did, they have gone, we are going to say they've gone. They've gone. Here basically we have a change, obviously, of vowels. We don't even have vowels anymore. We also don't have the first sound. We only have the last one that is attached to the first word. So this is the reduction. Now we're going to see a second example of the word of. And here you also can see the word and its phonetic transcription. And then in the second example, you can see the word in a sentence. The sentence is a man of means. But as in the phonetic transcription, reduction already occurred, we can notice a vowel change, which is a change from the O to a schwa. So it's of. So instead of saying man of means, we're going to say man of means. Man of means. And then in the last example, we can once again see that we have a change. And instead of saying man of means, like we previously did, we are only going to pronounce the schwa. Because and also here we can say that the phonemes of the first example have been disappeared, because instead of saying of, we're only going to pronounce a schwa, which is a completely different sound from the first one that we had. So instead of saying man of means, we're going to say man of means. Man of means. Here, yeah, we have the first vowel that changes, and the second sound just disappears. The disappears. So I insist, if you have any questions, just let me know. Here we have more examples. For instance, instead of, we have the sentence should have played. We have a reduction of have, and it's going to be either of or just a. So should have played or should have played. Should have played or should have played. As a second example, we have that's a dog. That's a dog. And that a becomes only a schwa. And it's going to be that's dog. That's dog. Then in the last example, we have she is going, and it's going to turn into she's going. She's going.
Miss,
Yes.
now that you mentioned that the article, no, the determiner, a,
Yeah, the terminator.
we pronounce it with a schwa. In the case of, how can we make the distinction there?
What do you mean? You pronounce it
I
with
mean, if we, how do you say it? Wait. In men of means,
Okay.
when we reduce the of to the point of only one schwa, how we can make the distinction between this determiner and the word of?
There's no way you can make a distinction, and this happens a lot with other words as well, in which only because of the context you are going to identify what you're saying. And now that you mention it, I just noticed that yes, sometimes, and especially in the case of Shoah, we pronounce these some words and they sound the same, but depending on the context, it's going to make sense what we are saying or not. So yeah, thank you for your question. It was very interesting. Do you have another one before we move on to the practice section? So remember, there are some words that are more likely to be reducted. Now please let me know if you can listen to this.
Rise and shine.
Can you listen to that?
Yes.
Yes, great. So now we're going to move on to the practice stage, and here you have to listen to the following sentences and identify if reduction is present or not. So there are some examples in which you are going to be able to listen to reduction, and there are going to be some examples in which there is not reduction present. And you have to take notes, you have to write down the sentences and identify where reduction is present if there is reduction. So you have 6 sentences, and I am going to play each recording, I think 3 or 4 times. And then at the end, if you need to listen to the examples one last time, we can also do that. So please take notes. And this is the first audio. So this is sentence number 1.
Rise and shine. Rise and shine. Rise and shine.
One last time.
Rise and shine.
Now we're moving on to sentence number 2.
I've already seen this movie several times. I've already seen this movie several times. I've already seen this movie several times.
One last time.
I've already seen this movie several times.
Now sentence number 3.
We saw a dog. We saw a dog. We saw a dog.
And one last time.
We saw a dog.
Number 4.
We're teachers too.
Second time.
We're teachers too. We're teachers too. We're teachers too.
Now number 5.
I have more work than I can handle.
Second time.
I have more work than I can handle. I have more work than I can handle. I have more work than I can handle.
Number 6.
I kind of procrastinate.
Second time.
I kind of procrastinate. I kind of procrastinate. I kind of procrastinate. Rise and shine. I've already seen this movie several times. We saw a dog. We're teachers too. I have more work than I can handle. I kind of procrastinate.
Now, are you ready to check, or do you need to listen to the examples one more time?
I guess I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. So we are going to check. Amaya,
Yes.
can you help me with sentence number 1, please?
All right.
Which was the sentence? Can you tell me which was the sentence?
Oh, I just write the way it was sounded.
And what did you write?
I really don't know if I can pass. I didn't know.
It's okay. Don't worry, I can help you even with the sentence. So the first sentence was this one. Were you able to notice where, if there was a reduction present, was located?
Well, it was speaking like rise and shine,
Yes.
and it was not so pronounced. Rise and shine.
Yeah, I will also say that the end was not that prominent, but in comparison to when we had the examples in which we only or when we saw weak forms, I don't know if you remember, but sometimes we will also have like only a schwa sound. So in comparison to that, do you think there is reduction or not?
I think yes.
You think there was?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have another opinion? Crystal?
I'm not sure if there was a reduction because and the speaker pronounced like Einstein.
Yes,
So
I
it's
will
like
say,
the
50-50.
whole word.
Sebastian.
I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, it's very tricky, but I will say there was not reduction. At least not a type of reduction. I mean, it was that noticeable because we are doubting. So I will say there was not. There was all less prominent. I mean, some sounds were less prominent, but it was not as noticeable as some other examples we could listen to.
Miss?
Yes.
And how we can like redact and
And
yeah, what would it
um,
be?
I don't know if you remember from memory, but the word "and" it starts with a trap vowel. So usually the trap vowel turns into only a schwa. And also it can happen something that could be considered also reduction. We can delete the d at the end of "and", like "and". So I would say that's a way we can with the schwa and "n". Now, Cristobal, can you help me with sentence number 2, please?
I've already seen that movie several times.
So you have already seen that movie several times. Do we have reduction in this sentence?
Yes.
Where?
In the first word, I've.
Right? Yeah, he doesn't say I have, he says I've, right? Patricio? Can you help me with sentence number 3, please?
Yes. Sorry, but I wrote them, but my phone erased them, so I only have the last sentence.
Okay, so I will go, I will ask you again in number 6, is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Maria Fernanda?
Yes.
Can you help me with sentence number 3?
Okay. It was we saw Todd.
Okay. Do we have reduction in this sentence?
I think there was in a we saw a dog. It was like not too pronounced.
Yeah, it is not like in the previous example in which it was a dog, but he was like, we saw a dog. So yes, there is reduction here. Sebastian, thank you very much. Sebastian, can you help me with sentence number 4, please?
We are teacher too.
Yes, that's the one. Do we have reduction here?
Yes, in the word we are.
And how do we pronounce the word instead of saying we are?
Where?
Where. Yes, that's correct. Thank you very much. Do I have a volunteer for number 5? Because number 6 is Patricia's.
I wrote it, but I'm not sure if there is reduction. The sentence is I had more work than I could handle.
That's correct. I have more work than I can handle. As you mentioned, the word have was the one which was pronounced as have instead of like in the first example, I've more work. Here the speaker said I have. So here there was no reduction in this one. And now Patricio for number 6. Which one was the sentence?
Okay, so number 6 is I kind of procrastinate.
Yes. Do we have reduction here?
Could you hear me?
I can hear you.
Kind, yeah.
In which one? Kind or of? Hello? I cannot listen to you very well. I am sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can.
Yeah, I think that in up, maybe.
Yes. Here it wasn't pronounced as of, but there was like a schwa sound at the beginning. So yeah, all right. Now
Rise and
we're going to
shine.
listen to it again.
I've already seen this movie several times.
Number 3,
We saw a dog.
4,
We're teachers too. I have more work than I can
and
handle.
6.
I kind of procrastinate.
Now we are going to do this practice, and you have to write 4 sentences with the phonetic transcription before and after reduction. And as an example, it says lots of money, and after reduction, it's going to be lots of money. So remember, you don't need to write full paragraphs. You can only write like short sentences like the ones I show you in the previous example, in the previous activity or in the previous examples. So they don't need to be extremely long sentences. So if you have any questions, I'm here, by the way. And I'm going to try to fix my camera because it's not working. So I insist, if you have any questions, just let me know.
Miss,
Yes?
I was thinking in an example. For example, in the case of the word isn't, can we say that there's reduction there?
The word isn't?
Yeah.
There is. You can say, yeah, because it's a construction. It's a negative one, but it is a construction.
So we can say that is deducted. Okay.
Yes, because you are reducing the vowel sound there. You're basically eliminating that vowel sound. So yeah. Are you ready or do you need some extra minutes?
Some extra minutes.
Okay. So time's up. Do I have a volunteer for this activity?
I didn't finish.
You didn't? How many have you completed?
I have to because I was trying to do something, but I didn't have the time.
And can you share those two?
Okay, give me 1 minute.
Okay. Because I have an example there. My dog is sleeping, and then instead of saying my dog is, I'm just going to say my dog's sleeping.
Share screen. Wait. Do you see?
Yes.
Because I wanted to put a quote of Stephen King, but I couldn't. So I have the first sentence is I divided the goal.
Yes.
So high school isn't a very important place. If we don't make the contraction, it should be like that. It's not a very important place. But if we do the reduction, it should be like isn't a very important place.
Yes, that's correct.
And in the second sentence is when you're going, you think it's a big deal. So if we don't do the construction, it should be you are. And if we don't reduce the determiner a, it should be a. But if we do the construction and if we do reduce, it is your and e.
Yes, that's correct.
And then I couldn't continue.
It's okay. So, thank you very much, Cristobal. That was it. That reduction is just reduce the or words, especially function words or monosyllabic words, in order to highlight the stress syllables. So, do we have another volunteer or someone wants to share one of their examples? If they cannot share the screen, it's okay. You can just say them. No? No? No, we don't have another volunteer. So we are going to do a recap now before the break. Give me a second. Yes, here it is. So what is reduction? We're going to do this recap I insisted before the break. Reduction, as I already mentioned, is a process in which the syllables that are unstressed, and it's a process in which we reduce the unstressed syllables in order to highlight the stressed syllables. So basically, by doing this, we are going to give more emphasis to the syllables that were already prominent in a sentence. And it says the vowels tend to become more schwa-like. That means they are centralized. And by doing that, they are going to become, instead of maintaining the vowels, we are going to use schwas, and plosives tend to become fricatives. Remember that this usually happens in a rapidly articulated speech, and monosyllabic function words are particularly prone to reduction, such as of, have, a, he, she, he, we, they, etc. So, do you have any example? Do you have any questions?
I was wondering, reduction leads to elision sometimes or not?
Do you have any questions? I have a problem with my computer. So,
Miss, do you hear me?
can you listen to me now? Hello?
Yes, Miss, can you hear us?
Yes, I can now. I am using my phone.
Miss, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I asked you wait, I forgot. reduction can lead to elision.
Reduction can what?
Do elision sometimes.
Do elision?
Like if we reduce some word, we are also doing elision or not?
In some cases, I mean, it's basically when we do reduction, usually is it is about reducing more than one sound. So when we only, for instance, delete one sound from a sentence or, I mean, from a word, we're usually going to do elision. But in the case when we have more than one sound, or when the sound changes, for example, in the case of A, it's going to be reduction. Now, something that happens, and it's something you are going to see in the following, I mean, in the second hour, is that sometimes they are more than one feature happening in the same word. And you can also say, for instance, you reduce these sounds, but you deleted one sound in the same sentence or in the same phonemes, because it can happen like that. So I will say yes to your question. While you're doing a reduction, you're basically also doing elision sometimes, because technically you are deleting a sound.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. Miss Bruno?
Yes, Ms. Javiera, just to complement Cristobал's question, or your answer, sorry, is that well, if we think about the phenomenon of reduction or compression, we are looking at some sort of elisions. An elision is the general disappearance of sounds, or of a sound or sounds, right? And when we reduce, mainly we focus on vowel sounds, and the reduction consists in making disappear this vowel sound, or changing the vowel sound into a schwa, into a weak vowel sound. So yeah, in one way we can look at these processes as elision in general, because sounds are elided, right? Sounds disappear. But to be more specific, we can think about vowel sounds, or vowel sounds turning into schwas. And also, because there's a very fine line between reduction and compression, right? But yes, in general, they are a kind of elision. That's all, Miss. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have another question before the break? No? Okay, so it is almost 5. So I'll see you after, I mean, I will see you at 9:45. Okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Miss.
See you later.